now that you've synchronized camera angle 1 and camera angle 2, you've learned, that you're going to need to chop these camera angles a little bit to synchronize them so there's not, you don't get messed up. It's a little easier. I know it can seem a little overwhelming at first. There are softwares, if you would like to do some research on, buying and purchasing a software where you just drop in all your footage and you drop in your audio and you press a button and it synchronizes everything. You can look into Pluralize by Red Giant if you're interested in investing and purchasing something like that. But if you are doing this completely for free, you can do it in Premiere Pro. I just do recommend, dropping that cut tool so that you can isolate what you're syncing with what's already synced. We're going to move on to camera angle 3 and then camera angle 4. So it's going to get a little more complicated. Feel free to watch these 4 videos, 1, 2, 3, and 4, the synchronization of cameras 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, if you run into any trouble, because this does work. I've taught, countless people how to do this, and we use it here in-house when we don't have access to those fancy softwares. So take your time, synchronize the audio, and let's get started with camera angle 3. All right, so we have synced all of camera angle 1 and 2, or camera angle 1 and wide, regardless, whatever you're going off of. We've synced 2 camera angles and 3 audio layers, right? One of which is the podcast audio that we previously produced. So you might have a slightly different looking timeline if you only had one video file for each camera angle. But since the camera stopped and started, it looks like in this podcast we have multiple synchronizations going on. And we want to come back to the first one and continue that. All right, so we're going to be continuing with now camera angle 2. And this is going to be the person that talks the second most amount of time. All right, so we have the person that talks the most amount of time synchronized on top of the, and I just hid that layer in case you were wondering what happened and how that changed. On top of the wide camera angle of all of them, I can unhide that. You will see that, everything matches. The facial expressions are matching. Now we're going to synchronize the female audio here and the female visuals because she talks the second most amount of time. All right, so we're going to be grabbing under camera angle 2 in our test episode project, and we're going to want to drag this secondary camera angle over, again, without overlapping any video or audio. So we're going to zoom out now. All right, so as you can see, it looks like this, camera angle either lasted the whole time or it almost did, okay? So I'm going to select all these other video files that I don't want to synchronize or have anything to do with the synchronization of this first set and just move it over. All right, so moving it over gives enough space for all of this first synchronization to occur. I'm going to select all these files. I'm going to highlight A4, highlight V3 so that we're telling Premiere Pro, okay, all these files are selected. We want to synchronize them all. I'm going to right click, synchronize is available. I'm going to press synchronize. Audio, that's what we want to check. Tracks channel is set to mix down. That's fine. It will probably synchronize if you have it set to 1 or 2 as well, but we're going to select mix down and then I'm pressing OK. All right, so that camera angle synchronized without any problems. You can see that if we did, since all these are synchronized, we could just bring them in, one by one, and they would automatically kind of synchronize with this camera angle. So we can do that to a certain extent. All right, so we can click this space in here, and we can go ahead and select backspace. All right, so as you can see, that will automatically synchronize these because these clips audio, there's no space at all between the audio. Okay, so synchronizing can get a little bit confusing. Hopefully you guys are following along. If not, just go back and rewatch. Layers will make sense as you rewatch and as you go through this video tutorial. Again, we can click this space in here, just click backspace, and we can continue doing this, until we obviously can see that this last clip, we need a second video file to synchronize. So we would grab, this next and final video file here. We will drag this guy down, and again, this is now going to probably synchronize with this final clip. All right, so we're going to highlight that, click synchronize. And once this synchronizes, we just have one more camera angle to go through to finalize and complete our podcast synchronization. And then we can get started with editing.